Hello, I am Rico Cavella, and this is your Ageless Body Self-Care Guide. It's your operations manual for your body and for your mind. And the title of today's session is about relationships, relationship skills for today's complex world. And we're very fortunate to have a great expert, a trainer with us today. John Gray is with us. And John is the author of the most well-known and trusted relationships book of all time, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. USA Today listed his books as one of the top 10 most influential books of the last quarter century. In hardcover, it was the #1 best-selling book of the 1990s. Dr. Gray has written over 20 books, and his most recent book is Beyond Mars and Venus. His Mars and Venus book series has forever changed the way men and women view their relationships. And John helps men and women better understand and respect their differences in both personal and professional relationships. His approach combines specific communication techniques with healthy nutritional choices that create the brain and the body chemistry for lasting health, happiness, and romance. And that's what this project is all about, helping people to really create optimal health and well-being. And of course, having healthy relationships is is a big component of overall wellness. So John, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
I'm very happy to be with you, and I'm right with you and our goals here.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's just going to be so much fun to have this conversation with you. So let's get really right into it. Why are relationship skills even more important today?
Okay, there's a big change in the world in the last 20 years. In a sense, the recent book, Beyond Mars and Venus, is revisiting the ideas of men are from Mars, women are from Venus, which helped us understand a lot of the differences between men and women, how we're different, our different communication styles would tend to create misunderstanding, frustration, and confusion. And we'll talk about some of those, but today we have a bigger problem, in a sense, an epidemic of everybody's changed. It used to be that women were dependent on men. now women are more independent. And when women are more independent, it changes the whole dynamic of relationship. In a sense, for those of us like me at almost 70 years old, it's what happens as we retire, in a sense. Basically, women have become more independent. They're not so dependent on us and whatever. It changes the dynamic of relationship there. Well, it turns out that we're looking at wellness and health and happiness, vitality, love, lasting relationships. We want all those things. Well, the bottom line of it is the distinction between men and women. Men, in simple language, simple plumbing, men need 10 to 30 times more testosterone in their body to feel good than a woman. Now, what stimulates the production of testosterone? Certain behaviors, certain interactions, certain situations. The bottom line is when a man feels needed, his testosterone dramatically increases if he can anticipate providing what is needed. So a happy wife bumps up a man's testosterone enormously. A successful job bumps up his testosterone. Many men, when we retire, if we retire and we don't continue to work, our testosterone levels dramatically drop, and we've got about 3 years before a heart attack. That's statistics. Now, that doesn't have to be that way. You just have to keep a job. Doesn't have to be you got plenty of money, you still have to have a job. I have plenty of money, I don't have to work. I work because not only do I enjoy my work and I love my work, but it keeps my testosterone up so I can enjoy it. So symptoms of low testosterone in men: belly fat, passivity, irritability, grumpiness, low libido, depression, and when I say irritability, anger. Most people think anger is high testosterone. Absolutely no. Anger is low testosterone and high estrogen. Now, estrogen is another hormone that when we feel happy and feeling loving, we have to have estrogen to have those feelings. But if our estrogen's too high, we become grumpy and irritable. For women, it's the opposite. Turn it around completely. When women have normal estrogen levels, they're happy. When they have low estrogen levels, nothing is good enough. That's it. The same world. Raise her estrogen and life's wonderful. Lower the estrogen and nothing is good enough. The mind goes into a bias of looking at negativity and problems, generating feelings of overwhelm, resentment, and exhaustion and burnout. That is all directly linked to low estrogen in women and making testosterone during the day, being successful is one way to make testosterone, actually lowers your estrogen. So this, when women are independent, independence stimulates testosterone. Dependence, meaning I need your help, stimulates estrogen. When you feel dependent, then you're capable of appreciating someone. Then you're capable of feeling gratitude. Now, you caught me at a moment today where I'm also doing something. I have to share it because it's what's present for me right now.
Yeah, please.
Because everybody wants to grow old and be healthy and happy and so forth. So, and we have a crisis right now as well. I'm doing a fast. I'm fasting now, and I promise you, anybody who will do a fast, when you break your fast and eat, you will be so grateful. That food tastes so good. Whenever you deny a certain need and fulfill other needs, so you don't feel like you don't get what you need, but you take away food, because see, food is one of the ways we comfort ourselves and ignore what we feel. And it pushes our hormone. Too much food. Food's great, but too much food, we got to back off and realize other things that we need. So what I did is I went on my fast because I don't want too much belly fat. Belly fat lowers testosterone. Men, your survival is testosterone. Your belly fat generates estrogen. Just let me understand that for guys. When you've got that stomach, you can basically go to the gym and you can work out and it doesn't go away. It's estrogen and it keeps generating estrogen. You've got to clean out your liver of all these bad fats, and you clean it out through fasting. So I'm just telling men, they say, how do I increase my testosterone? Take testosterone, your balls will shrink. You'll die sooner. Your body will pain. Taking testosterone is steroids. Only good to take in emergency. Right now, we have COVID. When people are having the emergency, they're having some treatments. They're using steroids to stop the inflammation. Well, guess what? Fasting will do the same thing. All your joints will feel better. Everything will feel better, because when you fast, not only are you losing the belly fat and the estrogen that lowers testosterone in men, but when you fast, your body makes something called glutathione. You don't have to take it, you make it. If you make glutathione, it will be the ultimate antioxidant to slow down that inflammation. And the drugs that are helpful for people with COVID right now are the ones that are saying, hey, we got to stop the inflammation. COVID doesn't kill anybody. It's the body's overreaction to it. Right. Now, one of the reasons the body's having an overreaction, and I'm saying this, I know we want to talk about relationships. I'm coming right back to it. Okay. But this is like, you're not hearing this anywhere. I've written books on this. Well, this book is Staying Focused in a Hyper World. And in that book, I explain that there's never been any research study saying that a fever is unhealthy. 105 degrees never caused brain damage, never caused any problems, only benefits. Only benefits. First thing, when people get a little fever, what do? They take Tylenol. Tylenol is known, absolute fact, to suppress glutathione. Glutathione is that which is the ultimate antioxidant to neutralize free radical damage and kill viruses. The temperature, your body going up to 103 already, that's killing any virus in your body. Yes. If you get beyond 103, you're moving towards 105, then your body does something else, because let's say you have diabetes or some other issue, it's hard for your body to make enough glutathione because you need healthy blood sugar levels to produce enough glutathione. So let's say you don't have that, then your body will do something else to save you. It's intelligent beyond anything anybody can figure out. It produces something called heat shock proteins. Heat shock proteins get produced when you have an ongoing fever, and they will wipe out any viruses in your body. Those same heat shock proteins get produced when you fast. If you fast, you go for 2 or 3 days fasting. Now, a lot of you can't do that right away, but if you've got any extra fat on your body, you're not going to go hungry. You're going to feel hungry, but your body's got plenty of food on top of itself. You go on good fasting programs. So many other people talk about fasting. Now, coming back to relationships, you want to bump your testosterone up, men? Discipline. Whenever you feel I have to do something I don't want to do, your testosterone goes up. Let's say you're nice, what do we call them? The happy guys. You're like me. I've done it. I've made it. There's no belly fat on me. That's because I choose to do things I don't want to do. One of the things I don't want to do is fast. It's hard to do.
Yeah.
Okay, another one to do. Now, this is, you could have done this when you're younger. If some of the people are younger, you have no libido, it's because you ejaculated too much. And still some old guys are ejaculating to porn. And that's the worst thing you can do for your testosterone levels. Never look at it again. And if you're addicted to masturbation, don't masturbate. Go take a cold shower. Cold showers produce heat shock proteins. These are these things that will keep you healthy and vital and keep your testosterone up. You see these guys, was in Europe, you go see these guys, they're 90 years old, 100 years old, and they go into the freezing cold weather and water, and they go in there, and we do it here in Marin County where I live as well. They go out into the cold ocean once a week. They are so vital and strong because every time you experience extremes for a short period of time, you produce these heat shock proteins. Fasting will do it as well. And it will bump your testosterone up if you're a man. Same thing for a woman. This will help restore her balance of hormones. But more important for women is, you get older, what happens with your estrogen is you've been disappointed so many times by men because you have unrealistic expectations. And we can talk about that next, the unrealistic expectations, where you feel, I just can't get what I need. Whenever you feel I can't have what I need, your estrogen goes down. When you realize I have what I need, your estrogen goes up. And I'll give you an exercise today, practical exercise to knock that estrogen up every day.
Yeah, John, that is so good. I mean, we're getting some really good health information here, but I'm really getting how that really relates, how our hormonal health really relates to how we relate to other people and how we feel about ourselves in our life. So that's such an important point that I think most people talk about relationships. That's not what they're mentioning. So this is something that's, I think, really valuable.
Oh, they're intimately related. Testosterone is everything. When we remember how we felt when we knelt before our wife and said, I pledge my life to you, and we'd do anything for her. And coming home, we had energy and excitement, enthusiasm. The passion goes away. That's all symptoms of low testosterone in men. That's all symptoms of low estrogen in women. And learning techniques to rebuild those hormones is so powerful. And part of it is health and wellness. And I just had to bring in the whole COVID thing because I know a lot of people are afraid. Yeah. If you go to a hospital, be afraid. Let me just say that very clearly. There's more germs there. You see, it's how many germs you encounter before you get something. Now, a lot of people get it no big deal because they're healthy. But if you're compromised, then it's dangerous to go around all those other people who are so sick. So the next thing you want to do is you go to the hospital. First thing they're going to tell you to do, Tylenol. Second best-selling drug in the world. Most dangerous drug you can take right there on the counter, because you know what it does? It's proven, there's no dispute, it stops glutathione production. The only thing that can save you from a virus infection is glutathione or heat shock proteins biologically, and Tylenol suppresses both. You can't get that fever. So if you got a fever, stay home and celebrate up to 105, no problem. Unfortunately, everybody says, call your doctor. What's your doctor going to say when you have a fever? Take Tylenol. They all do it. And yet you ask them why. Oh, you'll be more comfortable. I don't care about comfort. I care about survival and health and vitality. So I just want to throw that in. We got to follow ourselves.
Yeah, John, that's such good information. I really appreciate that. Just no question. Yeah, hospitals are dangerous places. I think it's, the treatment and infections that you get in the hospital is at least the third leading cause of death in the United States. So you're absolutely right. It's all about, creating a healthy immune system and staying healthy. Then we don't have to worry about all these viruses, because viruses are always around all the time anyway, right?
Absolutely. When they talk about only 0.1% of the population is actually having symptoms, right, or maybe 1% of the population, other people we're fine because we have good hormonal balance. So here's the other thing that suppresses glutathione, cortisol. Now, cortisol in your body is always based upon a precursor to cortisol, not just fight or flight and danger. Danger is a situation in the outer world. How you're responding to it. Men, if you're having estrogen spikes, meaning you get angry and get grumpy and feel victimized, what's happening is your estrogen's going up, your testosterone's going down, your cortisol is going to go up, and now you can't make glutathione, and now you're even more vulnerable to sickness. Turn that around. When a woman is experiencing cortisol, it's always her testosterone's being produced and her estrogen levels are going down. So what we have to do is recognize it's simple logistics here, plumbing. You know, if you're stressed and you're not happy or you have any health condition, women, you need to start doing things that stimulate your estrogen. Men, you have to do things to stimulate your estrogen. And in relationships, oh my God, you could be so balanced if you had a good relationship, but women have no idea what men need, and men have no idea what women need. See, we all feel, oh, love is intimacy. Let's spend time together. Let's appreciate each other. Let's be close together. That's sickness if you don't have almost equal amount of distance. You have to get close and you have to pull away. Close is I interdepend on you. We need each other. And now I depend on myself. Now I depend on you. Not that I can't depend on you, so I'm going to take care of myself. No, it's like I have, what an amazing partner I have. It's so wonderful. And I need my alone time. Men need permission to go to their cave. And that was a big idea of Men Are From Mars. And now we know biologically when a man has too much estrogen, which means he feels a lot of love. See, estrogen is pleasure, it's love, but it starts to rise. And as it rises, the opposite, testosterone, starts going down. So when estrogen's too high in a man, then it's no longer, he doesn't feel love. He feels, I love you. How could you treat me that way? His feelings are hurt. He feels irritable and grumpy. I feel controlled. You're always going to feel controlled and defensive. You take things personally for men when their estrogen's too high.
Wow,
and the testosterone's coming down.
Well, I wanted to ask you, I just wanted to ask you, you know, from writing your first book way back in the 90s and now to your latest book, which we want to talk about, Beyond Mars and Venus, what is the most important thing you've learned since then?
Well, thank you for that question, because that's really the theme of everything I have to share, which is that women have become overly independent, which suddenly means their ability to appreciate men diminishes. When men don't feel appreciated, then men's testosterone levels go down. Then women, when they can't appreciate a man, they start to complain more. When they start to complain more, a man's testosterone goes down, but complaining produces dopamine, and women become addicted to dopamine. So what happens is women today are often addicted either to complaining or addicted to being super independent. And they have to recognize not only for themselves and their own happiness do they have this problem, and it's a real problem, just like cocaine addiction. And they're throwing their problem on their partner, their husband. So what they want to practice is don't utter you can think it, go talk to a girlfriend about it. Talking about your complaints actually produces estrogen. That's why it's so addictive, but it destroys your husband. So forget about changing your partner. And by the way, most of us are listening to this, you can't change them anyway, but don't give up on them. Change yourself so where you find your love again, and now give him opportunities to be successful. And that's what my book's about, is what are the ways women can create opportunities for men to be successful and actually provide something that they really need. And what they really need is to feel that I can ask for help and get it. So here's like a little game. And I wanted to give you in this short little interview, a practical technique that any couple can do. And you have so much fun with it, and it will help balance your hormones, and it'll help you understand the foundation of a good relationship. And that is for 20 minutes, just 20 minutes, put a time period. We're going to play the game. It's called Genie in a Bottle. He's the genie, because see, whenever you feel successful, that you can provide what other people need, your testosterone goes up. And to feel successful, by the way, that you can provide what other people need, you need to be rewarded. See, like if I go to a job they don't pay me, I don't feel very rewarded. My testosterone goes down. But if I go to somewhere and I provide something, their happiness, their joy, that brings my testosterone back up. Now, what women's job is to love, and the man's job is to do. So for 20 minutes, she can't do anything for herself. She's dependent on him. She can't eat. He has to feed her. She can't clean the kitchen. She can't pick up the remote control. She can't massage your leg. You have to do anything that she wants during that time. Now, not outside that time. Now, see, you wouldn't say, honey, I want you now to clean the kitchen. And always remember to put your dishes in the dishwasher. No, that always remember stuff, it doesn't work for this. That's living in the past, the future, and everything. This is like right now, I need your help because I can't do anything for myself. I'm going to ask you, and you're going to do it with a smile, just like if you had a genie who said, your wish is my command. And it's fun. it's who you were actually in the beginning of that relationship is, honey, I'll do anything for you. You're amazing. We just stopped doing anything for her because she doesn't appreciate it. She can't appreciate it because she lives in a world which is where women are pushed into being so independent. And I have no problem with women being independent, by the way. It's just that they don't know how to come back to feeling what they really need, which is also intimacy and support from a man. So find a man. If you're a single woman out there, get a man to do this with. Start dating again. You need to be interacting with the opposite sex. Unless you're gay. If you're gay, then usually that's because at this age, if you had just figured it out, it's because all men disappointed you. So let's just come back to finding a guy and don't have high expectations. 20 minutes, we're going to play the game. Once you play this game with him, what's going to happen is he's going to do stuff and you're going to start feeling more estrogen, and it builds. It doesn't happen right away. This is science. Science shows that when a woman has low estrogen, and most women through menopause already have low estrogen anyway, they need all the help they can get to get that estrogen up. And the more independent you feel, the less estrogen you can make. So let's help women make estrogen by doing things for them, but they've got to play the game and also ask for help, and you do it playfully. Now, ironically, this is actually a romantic ritual. That's what romance is about. You know, when I take my wife on a date, I open the car door for her, not because she can't open it herself. I open the door and I remind her sometimes in the beginning, now, honey, I know you can open the car door by yourself, but I'm opening it for you because you give so much to me and everybody throughout the week. I just want to let tonight be all about you. Let me give to you. And she gets the reassurance that she can be a little selfish and think about herself now because I'm there for her. Because that's women need help to come back to themselves. All the unhappy women are always helping everybody else until they completely burn out. And then they're just saying, I don't care about anything. So this is the ultimate relationship skills. What are the 6 things that we can do to bump up those hormones? Well, 3 things to bump up women's hormones, 3 things to bump up men, just to be aware of this in the background. Anytime you give a man a message that you appreciate what he said or did or what he thought or his humor, anytime you acknowledge, oh, that's funny. Oh, I enjoy that. Oh, what a good idea. Oh, that makes sense. You're amazing. Testosterone goes up. A woman does that. You can say that to her. Her testosterone goes up. Does she need testosterone to cope with stress? No, that's not what she needs. She may need appreciation to get paid at her job. That's okay, but it doesn't help her hormonal balance. What she needs for hormonal balance is why he needs appreciation. He needs you to completely overlook his mistakes. Stop resenting him. He's just a guy. Stop expecting him to be your girlfriend or you. He's different. Appreciate what you get, accept what you've got, and trust he's doing his best, and he'll do better once you stop complaining. So that's the first thing. Second thing, what does she deserve and what does she need? He wants to give it. He just doesn't know how to give it, just like she doesn't know the importance of what to give to him. What she needs is to feel he cares. Now, of course, we all care, men. We know that. We give our lives for our wives, but we have to show caring in a way that communicates it to the woman. Caring is, oh, we walk into the room, you stroke her hair, you see her. Oh, you watching TV? Oh, can I help you with this? Anytime you enter a room, notice her, say something, interact with her. She feels invisible after a while. And you think, why do I have to look? I already know what you look like. No, you have to look. You have to be considerate. Consideration. Little things produce just as much estrogen as big things. You could give her on Valentine's Day 50 roses. If she has no estrogen, it's just going to have a little spike. If you give her 1 rose, it's just going to have a little spike. If she's got normal estrogen levels, give her 50 roses, you get a big spike. But if you give her 1 rose, you get a big spike as well. It has nothing to do with what you do. It's a fact that it's your consideration and offering a token of love, consideration, understanding, and respect. Those are the key words that sort of aim me in the right direction when it comes to my wife. Show caring, which is empathy. Don't try to interrupt her. Don't try to solve her problems. Respect means let people finish when they're talking. Respect means don't argue, but hear their point of view. Validate their point of view. You don't have to agree with it. You don't have to agree with it, but respect them. Don't minimize them. Don't ridicule them. And men don't realize they're doing that. Quite often, women will be upset about something and we think, well, that's ridiculous. That's stupid. Why would you feel that way? You just hit her with a ton of bricks. He doesn't know that. So learning to respect is to validate feelings, understand women will have different emotional reactions to things than men. And even biologically, this is true. We can see that under little stress, women have way more emotional reaction than men. Under big stress, men have way more emotional reaction than women. So this is like we have confusion. So she's having an emotional reaction. We immediately think, but this is a little problem. Well, that's when women have emotional reactions to little problems. We think she's saying it's a big problem. It's not, but you make it a big problem when you tell her it's a little problem. She's making a big deal out of it. So these are some of the basic ideas of Men from Mars and Beyond Mars and Venus, is really the recognition of how we men have gone too far to our sensitive side and talk too much about our feelings, get too much involved in ourselves. We need to learn how to come back to whenever you're angry, irritable, grumpy, resistant, passive, those are all high estrogen, low testosterone. Take time for yourself. Don't blame anybody. Do something to make you feel good. That could be exercise. That can be driving your car. That can be your hobby. That can be solving problems. That's going to work. And as I mentioned before, the ultimate testosterone booster, fasting. I just happen to bring that in because I'm fasting right now. Not that everybody should do this, but I'll be doing it for the next 30 days. I plan on living to 132. That seems to be, people need to realize that we can live a lot longer, but you can't live longer unless you keep cleaning out your body and have high positive love in your life, as well as great sex. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about sex because for some people here, it's already long gone. But once you start getting, this testosterone up in a man and the estrogen in women, you'll find it again. And then you should read my book, Mars, Venus in the Bedroom, because those are the skills that keep it alive. Because everything's new skills. See, in the past, nobody cared about sex over 50. Okay, but hey, I want it, don't you? This is amazing stuff. So we're in a different world. See, everything's different now. We want more. We're more unhappy because we can't get more. We give up, as opposed to, I want more. How do I get it? And that's the secret to it. And ultimately, if I could give you one bottom line, how do you get more in a relationship? Give up trying to change your partner and practice love. Love is not trying to change them. Love is learning how to support them in the ways they need, maybe not the ways you need.
John, that was so good. I was just all ears. That's such good advice and so interesting, and I really appreciate that. And so I really I want to remind you all the viewers that this comes with a PDF, and in the PDF you'll get all of John's contact information. You can go to his website, and you definitely want to read his new book. His new book is
Beyond Mars and Venus.
Yeah, Beyond Mars and Venus. It's going to be so good. And I mean, you offer just such amazing, really good information. I really appreciate that. And that was so awesome. But here's the last question I have for you. And I would like to always ask all my experts, because this is the key, because I like to always, always tell people knowledge without action is useless. So what ideas do you have that you can, that will maybe inspire and motivate people to actually to take action on your recommendations?
Simple actions with big results. So here they are. Besides, I've already given you the genie in the bottle game. Here's something you can start with anybody and start seeing the amazing reactions you have. When a guy's talking, women, notice as he's talking, he pauses. Say something like, good idea. Or, that makes sense. Or, wow, that's interesting. Or whenever it's true, this is only if it's true, then you say, you're right. How many men hunger to have somebody say, you're right? We need to hear it over and over and over, and we don't get it when we're married. So unless our wife understands, whenever it's true, be authentic, but know that that's a big way of supporting men. And you'll see their posture will change. They'll perk up. They'll wonder, what did I say? She said, that makes sense. Or that's a good idea. Or you're right. Now, what can men do right away to get in something easy to do? Immediate response. When a woman's talking, don't talk.
That's a good one.
When a woman's talking, don't talk. And then there'll be a pause. And then you say, help me understand that better. Let her talk more. The more you can get her to talk on a flow, the more estrogen she's going to produce and give an immediate response of, gee, that was really the best conversation I ever had. A funny joke. A woman says to her husband after a conversation where he practiced this, he said nothing other than, help me understand that better. Wow, tell me more. Really? What else? Those three phrases, three simple phrases, help me understand that better. What else? Tell me more. And not always in the same order, appropriate to the moment. And the woman talked the whole evening. When they're walking out the door, she said, honey, that was the best conversation we've ever had. She felt heard. See, men, you don't understand. We want to get right to the point. Zip, 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 zip. They want to unfold. As much as you want to rush to the point, she needs to take time. So those are three very simple things you can remember from this talk today, and you'll get immediate results. But keep in mind, it's not as simple as that. We really do need a new education for relationships, which is why you see behind me a whole bunch of books. People go, how could you write so many books? I've got about 15 more to write on this subject. There's so much more if you want to live a life of vitality, great sex, happiness, love, growing in love, happy family, harmony, making a difference in the world, and being healthy. This is all, there's a lot of knowledge. These were not the expectations of people who died at 40. This is a different world we live in.
Absolutely. That's so good, John. And yeah, it's all about continually learning. I'm learning more now than I ever have in my whole life, and it's so exciting. Okay, I just have to ask you this one thing then. How about your interactions with your wife? Since you guys both know all this stuff, do you sometimes catch yourself, thinking, oh, now I got to do like this? How does that work with you and your wife?
Well, first of all, my wife died 2 years ago, so I just want to acknowledge that. I talk in present time. She's always in my heart. Another thing we have to learn as our partners die off, and people are dying right now a lot more than usual. We have to learn how to grieve and heal that. So I'm now at the 2-year stage, so I'm able to just feel a deeper love for her than I ever felt.
That's so good.
You know, when you lose anything, you feel a greater sense of love because you lost it. You know, we take so many things for granted. And my healing from that, I now have a girlfriend. I now have a new life. Doesn't mean I don't adore my wife. Her pictures are everywhere. My partner understands that. She lost someone in her life. You know, love goes on. You can't just love one person. We love more, but you make one person special. And so in my marriage with Bonnie, we had every one of my books is a story of some mishap between us where we learned this lesson. Okay, we're just like everybody else. It's just that with the education that I have and my life, 40 years as a marriage counselor, you know, you sit back and you hear people's problems and you realize when you're not in the problem, all of our problems are exaggerations, they're misinterpretations, they're misunderstandings. Yeah. I mean, just this one idea of men go to their cave. If a woman doesn't understand, that's not about her. See, we take it personally. She thinks, oh, he's ignoring me now. He doesn't love me. No, it has nothing to do with whether he loves you. It has to do with what his need is at that time. There's nothing you could have done to change that. You didn't make a mistake, nor did you do something good. He has to do that. But so you feel like, oh, he doesn't love me. Now you feel, well, you're giving to somebody who doesn't love you, you're going to resent them over nothing. So many of our problems are exaggerations over nothing if we just have correct interpretation of the situation. And with that knowledge comes then new, easy to understand insights of how we can go beyond the normal to an extraordinary life.
John, thank you so much. That was so good. I enjoyed it so much. And so I like to always end these sessions with, I promise you that if you begin to start to take action on the recommendations, not only from John, but all of our experts, I promise you it's going to greatly improve your overall health and well-being and your enjoyment of your life and your longevity. And so again, the concept also is that so you can go out and make a bigger difference in the world. So thanks very much for being here. And remember, just take action. You're going to get some really great results. John, thank you once again. That was so good.
Thank you. Thank you.